It's a funeral, cause now my ego's dead. Like a thorn in a rose, ain't no way to get a grip. If I die alone, there'll be more room in the crypt. Yeah, I'm fine with it. I said, hey, I'll hold the light by the blade, cause I know how to take the pain. I love a girl, you're a baby, it's me, baby, it's me. I'll hold the light by the blade, I'll be fighting to the grave. I love a girl, you're a baby, it's me, baby, it's halo up ahead, devil on my shoulders. All these regrets circle like a vulture. Ain't no medicine, I'm a sick culture. And maybe I'm disturbed. It's like war on me, and I don't want peace. I would rather bleed. All the misery loves company, and I can't break free. I said, hey, I'll hold the light by the blade, cause I know how to take the pain. I love a girl, you're a baby, it's me. I'll hold the light by the blade, I'll be fighting to the grave. I love a girl, you're a baby, it's me, baby, it's I know it's warmer where you are, and it's safer by your side. But right now I can't be what you want. Just give it time. And if you and I can make it through the night, and if you and I can keep all of the life, we'll fight. We can meet in the middle. Bodies and souls collide, dance in the moonlight when all the stars align. You and I. It's cold when we're apart, and I hate to feel this die, but you can't give me what I want. Just give it time. And if you and I can make it through the night, and if you and I can keep all of the light, we'll find. We can meet in the middle. Bodies and souls collide, dance in the moonlight when all the stars align. You and I. Can we meet in the middle? Bodies and souls collide, dancing in the moonlight. When all the stars align, fire and
Hey kids, this is Pulsary Vision coming to you live from Cuatro Cinco Studios, my mom's basement. Like all good crypto bros. Just finished my shift at McDonald's, and here I am on YouTube, telling all of you guys where the hot coins are gonna be. We got Leroy C4 in the house. What's good, fam? What is good? It's day 60 of agproject.io. Leroy lives in his mom's shed. That's a pretty good gig if you can get it, man. Our Telegram is t.me/anti-gravity saga. Jump in there. We released the ranks and the points required to reach those ranks in the collective just recently. And we got more information on that coming, obviously, of course. Yeah. So let's actually, as you can see, the screen that I'm sharing right now is agproject.io. You can see the clock counting down. Right now, we're in the Wishwell era where you can go connect your wallet and throw money in the Wishwell. And it spins you up a cute little receipt NFT that shows, your contribution and how much money you wished with. And it's tentatively set to go to click over into Era 2 in about 38 days. Obviously, that's an estimate. 2 more weeks, 4 more weeks, whatever, 5 more weeks, as we've seen in crypto. Behind me, you can see the DarkX logo. So we have DarkX. People are going to be able to mine DarkX at the beginning of the second era, which is the mining era. And it's a little logo for you guys of the DarkX token. And if you remember at the beginning of our book, Rings of Dust. Oh, I don't think I have a bookmark handy. Hang on one second. All right, folks. So you can see on our book, Rings of Dust, right here at the beginning of Rings of Dust, if you guys have listened to the first chapter. Cole Nova, our hero, and just an all-around good guy. He's sent to take a sample of DarkX and yelling, "Mom, where are the bookmarks?" Oh, snap, I see him in a rank. I don't know where I'm at, but probably last. No, you're not last, buddy. We'll show you in just a second here. Mom, where are the bookmarks? Bookmarks right here. Rings of Dust. So in the beginning of the book, our hero, Cole Nova, is sent to get a sample of DarkX, which is kind of like a plasma. It's kind of like, it's a weird substance, very volatile. And he goes to get this sample, and when you disturb the DarkX in this form, it causes a catastrophe. Blows up his crew, blows up his ship, causes an energy crisis throughout the whole galaxy. And So we're going to have some fun here when we get these contracts. We have smart contracts in audit right now. We're going to be getting those back for the mining and for the claiming and stuff like that. So we're gonna have a lot of fun with the DarkX, and that's what we're gonna be mining in hopefully about 37 days, give or take. Whatever it is, we'll definitely want it to be as sound and ready as possible. So yeah, that's that one. Let me share this. So in our book, Rings of Dust, they're a group that's kind of like the Freedom Fighters, is known as the Collective. And this really isn't a very good shot of it. I need to make it a little bit bigger. But as you guys can see, and if you guys go to t.me/Anti-Gravity Saga, you can actually pull up a better version of it there. Boom, Anti-Gravity Saga. But as you can see, you start with an informant, and then you work your way into operator, technician, agent, navigator, officer, and Grand Admiral is like the highest rank you can get. And it starts at 3s, 3333, 6666, 9999, and it just repeats that pattern. So if you want to be a junior operator, you got to have 3333 points or 3,333 points. If you want to be a lead operator, you got to have 9,999 points, and so on and so forth. So as you can see, you have 3 classes within each rank, and you can see it's 369, 369, all the way down until you get to the Grand Admiral. And if you'll notice, if you guys have been hanging out with us and paying attention to the Wishwell Smart Contract, it starts out at 0x332211, because throughout these eras, we've been giving out 33x bonus points, 22x bonus points, and 11x bonus points. So it's a little nod to that, basically, but it's a lot of points. Like, it's a silly amount of points. It's going to be interesting to see if anyone ever hits that rank, But there's a lot of cool gifts and ideas that we have associated with these ranks. So if you guys want to check that out and learn more about that, come to Anti-Gravity Saga. And I think we're also going to be not just releasing parts of the book to Telegram, but I'm going to be reading some of the parts of the book. And some of the parts of the book are Easter eggs that explain to you guys how the tokenomics are going to work with our ecosystem. And some of them are just good story. So you guys are going to have to listen in, check out the story, see if you guys can pick up the Easter eggs and the hints that we have going on. And that's where we're at right now. I mean, it feels like not a lot is going on, and I miss a few days streaming, which I apologize to my loyal hardcore fans, but I'm back, and really sometimes I'm near a computer, near a phone. Sometimes I'm not, even if it's at like the pickleball court or the skate park, like I did that one time. But usually I'll just be here playing some music and going over what's going on in the community. Like, for instance, we have the Ranks in the Collective, which is really cool. Another thing in our ecosystem, in the Pulse chain ecosystem, is Richard Hart. I don't know if he threw a fit. I don't know if he had a moment of clarity. I don't really understand his motivations, but he unfollowed everybody on X. So he just completely just washed his hands of everybody, and he was like, too many people are shilling their shit coins and blah blah blah. And it's like, well, I don't know, man. Like, there are some people that have shilled coins on other chains, and I get it. I totally understand why people use other chains, and it's using the chain that you want to use. That's your prerogative. That's your choice. Whatever chain you want to do. We're launching Anti-Gravity on the Pulse chain because that's where we want to establish our super community, and the community is really what that's really where we're placing our bets on, is the community right now. If you look at this, he ever since he did that, let's share. No, that's not it. Here it is. Here's the deck screener chart of Pulse Chain. I think he stopped following people. Oh my goodness. Yeah, right around here, maybe a few days ago, either on one of these green candles or whatever. And cool. Let's actually put this on auto and logarithmic. But yeah, it's hit. We're definitely hitting a floor here of price. That let me see. Let me go back. Yeah, we've been lower than this floor, like the original super crash that came down back in August. We were 4 zeros and a 3, 5 ish. Now we're 4 zeros and a 4, 7 ish. So it's been lower, but you can see we hit this bottom already back in December. And then it kind of almost touched it in January before we had this fun actual, like we were climbing out of the ghetto and trying to make some money. And then, whoosh, all the way back down here, back down on this floor. So I don't really know Richard Hart's motivations for some of the things he does and says. Like, part of me thinks it's a character, part of me thinks it's for attention. It's really up to him. Did he intend to have this effect on the price? I don't know. Maybe this is his shaking weak hands out kind of thing. But the other thing that's kind of interesting when you see other people that I personally support, like let's say Fashion Coder, for instance. Fashion Coder drops a coin called Bestie on Solana. Now, granted, it's probably coming to Pulse Chain, but even if it doesn't, there's so as a founder, when you launch a coin, you're competing for the economic power in that ecosystem. Jake Sharp wanted to go after the economic power on Ethereum when he launched Titan X. And I totally get that. He's like, that's where the volume is. That's where the money is. And he's done very, very well. And, some of the Titan X guys have made very, very good money too. A lot of people have lost a lot of money in Titan X. But that was his choice. And if we, let me take this out of full screen so we can see this right here. We have a market cap of $408 million. So if I'm looking at launching a project like we are in Anti-Gravity, we're going after all of that $408 million. Like, we're competing with the other projects, including Pulse Chain, PulseX, all of them. We're competing with them for, that market cap. That's what we want to do, is we want to get as much of that economic power as possible into our project and have a hell of a time doing it. But if you look over here, it's something like Solana. Let's just put in SOL, which is, kind of funny too. So here's Solana and wrapped ETH. Let me try to find a big one. 3K, 300, Solana. So I think this is on Ethereum BSC. Solana WETH. What's that? 23,000. Let me see if I can find the biggest one here. Liquidity 2.4 million. It claims. I don't know how much of that is V2. But either way, let's look at Solana on these ones. And this one's not right. I'm pretty sure that Solana's got a much. Let me actually just Google market cap of Solana. So the market cap of Solana today is 66.9, almost 67 billion USD. So if I'm going to compete for economic power, there's a lot more economic power right now on Solana. I think even Base has quite a bit of economic power too. Let me try Base. What's Base's market cap? Yeah, so Base today That's not. Maybe that's a base protocol. It says that the base protocol is 1.4 million, or 1.2 million dollars if you're going off CoinGecko or CoinMarketCap. So that's a pretty small. That's 400 times smaller than Pulse Chain right now. So let me kill my freeze here. There we go. Yeah, so it's like, where do you want to be? Where do you want to compete? Where do you want to set up your shop? What market do you want to? What street do you want to virtually? And so, until we get a couple $1 billion back into Pulse that was originally, pumped into Pulse, then it may not be very attractive to many coins other than meme coins. And right now, I mean, even Solana's taken on the meme coins. So Ethereum, Solana, these places are made for memes. And memes are fun. Memes are cool. I love memes. I love some of the communities that we have in Pulse Chain that are doing memes. Memes are a cool part of Randy Hilarski's No Permissions group. They're used very well by Rags to Riches. They're used very well by Sloth. And basically, it's like it's a shared joke. It's a shared community. The thing, though, is that there's very few people, as far as I can tell, that are coming into crypto, learning how to use a hardware wallet, going through an exchange and putting their USD or their fiat onto chain and bridging it, if they have to get in on the next Pepe or the next whatever. I mean, like, actually, Pepe is one of the communities that brought in a ton of no coiners or new coiners. So that's an exception to the meme game. However, most of the memes eat their young. Most of the memes are recycled money, recycled bros, and it's more of a timing game of gambling than it is, oh, this meme is legit, this community is legit, the holders are, there's diamond-handed holders in this meme or whatever. And so, it's like you got to be the first one in and you got to be the first one out when people start aping into it or FOMOing into it. Let's see. I would expect him to push Pulse Chain. That should be his priority. Bears, LOL. I love it. Oh my gosh. I've got a very special guest in the green room. Give me a thumbs up if you're ready to jump in. Oh my gosh. What are you doing, buddy? It's so good to see you.
Yeah, you too.
Is that a real lake behind you or just a really cool green screen?
It's a real lake. This is my my new office.
That's beautiful, man.
Thank you.
Absolutely beautiful. They had did you make it to DGen Roundtable's anniversary stream?
I was there, yes.
Oh, well, now I've got to watch it. I wasn't going to watch it until I found out you were going to be there. I remember the time I was on the Whiskey Wednesday, and you had someone with different hands handing you different drinks and snacks. I was pissing myself. I was dying laughing. I had to keep muting myself because I didn't want to like whinny and snort into the microphone because I was laughing so damn hard. That's going to go down as like one of the best stream moments of my life.
I think you'll like this anniversary one as well.
Right.
Some new tricks. It'll be good. I'm
looking forward to it.
Yeah, I was interested in your topics you were discussing tonight. I thought that was kind of fit in with some stuff I was thinking about. So yeah, I want to see where you're going with that.
Yeah, I mean, like everyone, Richard Hart's mad at people for going to other chains or going to other projects, but it's like, well, I don't know, like Pulse Chain, aside from your stuff, Fox, Liquid Loans, and some of the 9mm stuff, Randy stuff, it's the only thing happening there right now. And as I said, we're all competing on Pulse Chain right now for a 400 million market cap, let's say, right? And we know that market cap's not real, but it is indicative of the amount of economic energy that we're not only competing with each other for in a healthy way, but we're also competing with the rest of crypto for the overall economic energy. And no one's been able to take away the ball from Bitcoin and Ethereum this cycle so far. I mean, you've had your crazy 5000x memes, which, dude, if you're in on the memes, I'm happy as hell for you. I truly am. But the memes are, like I said, it's almost like trying to time a jump rope game, where you're like trying to jump in and out at the right time without getting whacked in the head by a rope.
Yeah, either you're a gambler or you're an insider. Like it's the two things with memes. But like, I don't know, as far as like taking it from Bitcoin, Ethereum, like I don't think that's really the competition that the Pulse chain's in this year. You know what I mean? Like, we're not going to become the new dominant EVM chain or anything like that. But we still have game, and we still have quite a bit of economic energy. It's just, we don't have the big players coming over yet. But maybe we could find a way to get them to come over. And one idea I was throwing around was the concept of like, what if you could farm your Solana on the Pulse chain, or your Matic, or your Ethereum, or your Bitcoin, or, basically any of the layer ones? They're all represented on Ethereum, and they could all be bridged to the Pulse chain via the Richard Heart bridge. So if that is the case, and we know it is, then if there were farming solutions that centered around those other chains, we might be able to provide options for people who are interested in holding Solana to farm it on the Pulse chain, rather than have that economic energy all sit on the Solana chain, or you could fill in any chain with the concept. Yeah. And then when they're done with that, or when they see the results, like, who's to say they're not going to roll some of that economic energy into the Pulse chain in one way or another?
Yeah, no, that's a really good point. I just looked up BSC's market cap, and it was like just under $1 trillion. It's like 892 billion and some change, right? So like you said, we're competing with Solana, we're competing with BSC, we're competing with all these other layer ones and layer twos to really show people. And that's the thing, is like, when you're new to crypto, one of the last things that you see are the communities, right? Like you hear about a coin or something from a YouTuber maybe, or a friend that's like, oh, I turned $100 into 1,000 with this dog with a hat or whatever, right? And so you jump in, but you don't really understand like who the players are and the history. It's almost like jumping into a soap opera and not watching the last few seasons. So you don't really know what's going on in the soap opera, and who's the good guy, who's the bad guy, and who's backstabbed people in the past. And so it's hard to portray that to people, and I think one of the best ways we could do it is by just the insanely high quality content and information that we have. For instance, you were just talking about farming, right? So if someone just jumped on here, they're not familiar with the term farming when it comes to cryptocurrency. How would you explain it as simply as possible what farming is?
Farming is liquidity providing, where you're putting up 2 or more tokens that are paired together, and then you get paid typically in a third token or more on top of the percentage that you make for being a liquidity provider.
Right. And to break liquidity providing down even more, when people trade on an exchange and they want to trade one coin for another, you have to have people facilitate that trade, right? That already are willing to have those coins ready to move in and out so that it's seamless and fast.
Yeah. One guy's got apples and one guy's got oranges, and you can come in with apples or oranges and trade them in that pair that he's put up there. And he takes a little piece of each trade because he's the liquidity provider, and that's the incentive to do so. And then when you have farming, it means that you're putting up apples and oranges, and you get a piece of an apple, a piece of an orange every time somebody does a trade. But then you also get somebody who's giving you peaches too, because you're doing farming, and that's the bonus thing, is the peach, to put it in a agricultural perspective.
Yeah, I absolutely love the analogies and things like that, because people can wrap their head around that, but they may not. Like liquidity providing the first time you hear it is just it's Greek,
What
right?
is that?
It's like
It's
yeah,
is it
it's
money? Is it about water? Like what are you talking about? Yeah.
yeah. Moonmutt says I thought fast farmed camels.
We're good. Yeah, we could get on to camels, but I could do a camel analogy, I'm sure, camels, mules, but I think people get the idea that it is like a little bit advanced, but it's not that advanced. So there's different levels for these things, and I think a lot of people who could bridge Solana from Ethereum to the Pulse chain, they would probably already be on that level. So to reach out to communities to provide an opportunity like that to get them onto the Pulse chain, I don't think it'd be a big stretch for anybody who's already doing real DeFi, right? It's a big step for somebody who's only on centralized exchanges. So it just depends where they're at.
Yeah, and before there was the internet as we know it, there was the intranet and a whole bunch of geeks trying to network their computers and talk to each other and do all sorts of stuff before it was mainstream, before America Online came out and people could just send an email. And I may be completely wrong about this because I'm not someone who knows about code, but from what I understand, when TCP/IP was created, that was the language that let all these networks talk together seamlessly. So now I didn't have to be on the exact same network to send you an email. I could be on another network and it would make its way over.
Yep.
And on one hand, I'm shocked and amazed that there's no TCP/IP for, crypto that's easier than bridging. On another hand, knowing that we're fighting banks, governments, and just really crappy people, it's not surprising that stuff has been stifled or, hard to bring to market, so to speak. So I'm sure it exists somewhere. I'm sure someone's built out a lot of this infrastructure and a lot of these UIs. But oh wait, yeah, turn that right there. Holy cow, that's absolutely beautiful, man.
Good one, eh?
Yeah. That's what we like on today's like today we're just hitting another floor. It's good to go outside and walk around and breathe some air and look at the sky, trees, and just be like, oh, okay, yeah, the bear market's not all that exists right now. We've got life still going on around us. That's beautiful.
Here, let me try to get less of me in the shot. There we go.
Beautiful. Now, are you a father yourself?
Yeah, I have 3 boys, 3 for 3.
So what are your plans for tomorrow? I mean, happy Father's Day, first of all.
Thank you.
What do you guys got planned? What are you doing?
We might go fishing on this here lake. That could be something that happens.
That sounds like a lot of fun. We're just doing a little barbecue in our backyard, inviting my dad over and some friends. And so happy Father's Day to all the dads out there, and all the people who might be dads, and just don't know about it.
Oh dear.
Other than that, the only other updates I've got right now, we got 118 wallets on Pulse Chain. I don't know if you saw the ranks that we officially published in Telegram, but we have an actual rank schedule for the collective. And Leroy says, "Dad, please come home."
Oh dear.
I went out for cigarettes and a gallon of milk like 14 years ago on that poor kid. Poor kid. I feel like a lot of the Pulse Chain community right now is waiting for Daddy Richard to come back from the gas station with his cigarettes and milk.
Yeah, I agree. But a while longer until the Ethereum gets to the top, right?
Yeah. I mean, I think that maybe Richard thought that Ethereum would rip as quickly as Bitcoin did on its news. But this is all just guessing, right? It's like they thought we'd get our pump and then move over to Pulse Chain, but I think everything's going to happen just right on time. Like, even though things are, have been slow going, let's say, and not as quick as we would like, with the ecosystem. I think we're going to look back and be pretty happy with the way things shook out. At least that's what I have to believe. Being a founder myself, and we were supposed to launch, a year ago, and here we are, still coding and auditing and all that fun stuff, right? So things just seem to happen when they're supposed to happen in life. At least that's the philosophy I choose to take right now. We got Zaid Muhammad saying NP. I'm not sure what NP stands for, but good to have you here, Zaid Muhammad. Yeah, other than that, like I said, we're building out the story, we're building out the graphics for the ranks and for the website, so people can like visually see what an NFT is and how it interacts with stuff. And then when we get brave enough, we've already mentioned that we're giving away cars to people that reach they're going to be the people that reach the Grand Admiral level, which is like, you've got to be coming with some serious cojones and some serious hot sauce to hit Grand Admiral. But cars? Yeah, we're giving away high-end cars to the Grand Admirals. That's one of the real world rewards that we put up. And so what you see on the screen or in Telegram is just a fraction of the Excel spreadsheet. And then as you go out from that, you see like the rewards that you get at each level, physical, and we're also working on online rewards. But yeah, that'll be like the next thing we go into. And of course, reading parts of the book that have the Easter eggs on some of the stuff that we haven't even mentioned about some of the twists and turns that this game theory is going to take. Leroy says, I got a couple ideas what it could be. And he's laughing. No, Leroy, I know what you're thinking. And that's not one of the real world ones. We could have a lot of fun at some of our events. I'll just put it that way. But I don't think we'll be shipping things through the mail that people don't like to be shipped in the mail.
I see where Leroy's going. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So that's the good news. Like I said, we just started the audit process with 5 of our smart contracts, and they've told us there's about a week turnaround on those. So those are the ones that have to do with mining, DarkX, and claiming, and all the fun shenanigans that we've got planned in the mining phase. But once we start the mining phase should go for 6 weeks, and then the actual launch. So that puts us somewhere in like September, the middle of September for launch. And people are going to be
when are their tokens? When are their tokens on the market?
Well, that's the interesting thing is people can mine the DarkX token during the mining phase, but as we've hinted in the book, DarkX is a very volatile and dangerous substance, and so people may or may not be surprised by what happens with the DarkX when they mine it.
Okay, so will they be able to receive the DarkX into their wallets, or will it be?
They will.
They will. Okay.
They will. So they'll be given a point value, just like they're getting points in the Wishwell, and then they'll also be given the DarkX tokens on top of that. And then whatever happens after that is anyone's guess. But I think that people you're gonna hear about it. Is what I'm saying. Shit's gonna hit the fan when the mining starts, because it's gonna be fun. There's gonna be some fun stuff going on. But then at the very end of the 6 weeks, there will be a claim phase, and that's when everything is going to be made good, and that's when you're going to have the Dark Matter token launch on Pulse Chain, and you'll also have the anti-gravity NFTs available to mint. So that's the time, sometime in September, we're hoping right now.
But you just said the Dark Matter token was going to be available sooner than September.
No, the DarkX token.
The DarkX token. Okay.
You can mine the DarkX during the mining era.
Yeah.
But everything's going to be converted into Dark Matter tokens.
I see.
when we launch with the whole thing. So Dark X, consider it a placeholder and something that does not perform or behave the way you think a token will. Let me just say greed kills, because there's going to be a lot of people that as soon as you introduce anything on the market, the bots come in and people come in and they try to flip it as quickly as possible on the exchanges.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I think that some people are going to be shocked and surprised by what happens, but people will be made whole, and this is all going to increase your rank and standing in the collective. So when it's all said and done, it's going to be a fun thing. I think, like I said, I think that some of the shit that goes down during the mining phase is going to get us a lot of attention, and hopefully bring a lot of attention to Pulse Chain as well.
Cool.
So that's
curious
kind of
about
what say
what
about
this
that.
token has. What's the magic of the Dark X token? Like,
Well, at the beginning of the book, as we read in chapter 1, Cole Noah, our hero, tries to separate some Dark X from itself in the harvesters. So that basically they put out these harvesters out in the rings of Saturn that are kind of like crab pots, and they collect the residue of this Dark X energy, this substance. And he goes to take a sample of it, and when he separates it from the rest of it, the whole ship blows up. Like, it kills everybody, and it creates a power crisis, an energy crisis across the entire solar system.
wow, that's pretty intense. So is it safe to hold this in my wallet? It like destroys solar systems.
Well, like I said, a lot of people, I tell them, spin up a new wallet for everything you do, right? Practice good wallet hygiene. So if you're if you want to connect and play in our ecosystem, it's best to probably spin up one account just for that, because the account is going to keep those. So if you do the Wishwell with one address and then you mine with another address, they're going to accumulate different amounts of points. You want to keep everything in the same address in our ecosystem. And so you may want to spin something up, but I'll just say nothing malicious is going to happen to your wallet. It's just going to be surprising to a lot of people that are trying to do the game that we were talking about with memes, where it's like first in, first out, or first person to provide liquidity, whatever it is. This stuff is highly, highly volatile. So it's kind of like playing with fireworks, right? Okay. You don't want to lose your hand. Now, granted, like I said, everyone's going to be made whole in the end, which is something that you'll hear some shit on Twitter. People are going to freak out, but in the end, you're all going to be made whole. We're all going to have fun. I'll just put that out there ahead of time.
I got a couple ideas of what it could be, but I might be off base. I'm thinking of like an ohm fork or something like that, where you have like I want to call it rebalancing. It's not that though. It's there's a different term. So, but yeah, interested to find out anyway.
Yeah, we're gonna have some fun, and we're gonna play some games, and we're gonna freak some people out all at the same time. And I'm very, very excited about that. But like I said, there should be 2 weeks at each of the bonuses, so 6 weeks total. And then we want to launch and go crazy. And like I said, even though I've said over and over on stream, we have 1 million dark matter tokens that are going to be issued, a lot fewer of those than people think are actually going to hit the market. Because you have the evil address, which has a very unfair advantage over the ecosystem.
Okay.
And you also have some other things going on. And so people are going to expect 1 million tokens because they've heard 1 million tokens or they read it on the white paper. And they're going to be shocked at how few actually hit the market. And the whole point of this ecosystem is to get those off the market. The few that do hit the market, we want them minted into the anti-gravity NFTs. And that starts a whole nother game of giveaways and rewards and piñatas and games of chicken to see who can resist selling at what price. Kind of like, think about Bitcoin. Some people were really happy to sell their Bitcoin at $10, some 100, some 1,000, some 10,000. But everyone has a price where they're going to sell. And So we're going to see where those prices are. And Bitcoin's issuance is about 130 years, give or take. Started about 15 years ago. It's got 120 to go before the last significant amount of Bitcoin is supposed to be mined or given to the miners. And so that 130 years, 140 years, that's a long time to wait to see if your mechanics play out the way you want them to, right? We're gonna do it. We're gonna do it in 9.5 years.
Okay.
So we're hoping to have 13 times the economic power that Bitcoin did, just by that simple math.
Mm-hmm.
So instead of Bitcoin has a halving every 4 years, we have basically a halving or more every 100 days, every 105 days. So we're putting this baby on steroids and making it scream.
So that first 100 days is pretty important then.
Yeah, definitely, because when we launch, we'll give people 30 days to mint the first NFT series, but after that, they only get 15 days to mint.
Okay, cool. Have you thought about adding any additional games with farming and the like?
Not yet. We've just tried to make our token the most scarce token on Earth. In fact, going to zero at the end of the 9.5 years.
Oh my!
But on top of that, if people add accelerants like the PGIF technology or the Fux farming technology, that's going to withdraw tokens from the market even faster than what we've designed. And we basically, like I said, we've designed it to go to zero within 9.5 years sooner if we can. Like, we're just going to try to get this all as scarce as possible. Because I mean, that's the whole point of dark matter in the book, is that this is the most rare and valuable resource in the universe, in the solar system that we know of, because it's the key to unlimited power. Cool. So if we can have that play out in the cryptoverse, then we'll either break something or make something magnificent. But either way, we're going to have a lot of fun doing it.
I like the sound of unlimited power, yeah. And from like just a more traditional crypto perspective, the more places you have to put something, the more rare it becomes, right? So the more options there are, the more games that can be played, the more interesting it is, right?
Definitely. Leroy says, I got a couple ideas. Oh, that was earlier. Awesome work. Great work. This is going to be awesome. Thanks, Leroy. Appreciate that. Leroy, there's actually a bionic monkey with 4 arms and swords that pop out of its arms. And its name is BitBoy Leroy, named after both BitBoy and my buddy Leroy here in comments, are my meme dealer.
Wow. Leroy, I guess, or will be future famous.
Yeah, future famous name, and it'll definitely be one of our NFTs for sure. In fact, let me change my background to this monkey, just one of the images we have of it right here. Here's one picture of BitBoy Leroy right there. So
that's an ape, sir. That's not a monkey. That's a chimpanzee, but a bionic chimpanzee. That's cool.
Technically, he's supposed to be a macaque, but we're open. We're still editing the book, so we can change it to whatever. But that's yeah, right. That is a chimpanzee, isn't it?
It is. Yeah. I know my macaques. I like macaques. Macaques are cool. I went to one of my favorite places to go that I've been to about 5 times. It's called Monkey Temple. It's in India, and there's like something like 5,000 macaques that live there, and you go there with a big bag of bananas. They all run down from the mountains to get the bananas. It's a good time.
That sounds like a lot of fun. Leroy says, I'll stream with you one day. I'm looking forward to it, Leroy. I'm looking forward to all these people from the community showing up and hanging out. We did have our first meetup in Salt Lake. It was a very small meetup. We didn't give people a lot of heads up, but we went to a Paris concert. I've been calling them purists this whole time because I'm not cool. I'm a kid. Like here, like it's pronounced Paris, but it's got a V instead of an A. And
Okay.
so I called it Purist for 3 years until I went to their concert, and then the band opening for them was like, "Are you guys ready to hear Paris?" And I'm like, "This idiot doesn't even know the name of the band."
Oh,
So, in fact, they're playing with Smashing Pumpkins in the end of September in Vegas. So I might go watch them again in Vegas and then stay for Smashing Pumpkins, which is, I don't know. I've never been to a Smashing Pumpkins performance.
I've heard of Smashing Pumpkins. I've never heard of Paris or Puris or Puvris.
Peveres.
But I do like Smashing Pumpkins. That's probably going to be a good time.
Yeah,
Are
they're
they opening for Smashing Pumpkins, or is Smashing Pumpkins opening for them? Like, who's
oh,
more
they're the Smashing Pumpkins is more famous. When I looked up the VIP tickets, it was like, oh, you get all this Smashing Pumpkin stuff, not you get all this Paris stuff.
Yeah, right.
But it was crazy. They put on one of the best shows I've ever seen up there in Salt Lake. It blew me away. The lead singer is like maybe 100 pounds soaking wet. Like she's very not big at all, but she like filled the entire stage with her energy and with her performance. It was really, really good. If you guys get a chance to see Paris, check them out. I definitely highly recommend that band. And then of course this next weekend I'll probably be missing my streams Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, because we're going to a festival up on the border of Idaho and Utah called E11, which is Burning Man for Utah's local or regional Burning Man. And that's going to be a lot of fun. Yeah, she's just a set of lungs on legs. She is. She sings, just belts out that music. But yeah, we'll be doing that, which is fun, and we'll be taking notes because the truth is, the events that we've enjoyed through Pulse Chain and Hexicans and our community has been so enjoyable, but we'd like to bring even an even funner vibe to it, like something that's more akin to art, music, and just shenanigans that you get at different festivals, which I'm sure you've been to some of the festivals up there in Canada. Has some crazy festivals.
Our summer's short, so like, summertime in Canada, like we really freaking go for it, right? Like we got to do all the things in like 4 months
on that weekend.
Yeah, now, right? It's not, it's not that cold up here, but like right now, like I'm wearing a jacket. It's probably 15 degrees Celsius. I don't know how to convert that in my head, but like, it's not, the water's not frozen. It's just colder than most people would swim in.
I can imagine it takes your breath away.
But my kids swim in this though right now, like it's not terrible. You get used to it.
Yeah, well, you guys go in Celsius up there.
Yeah. Us and most of the rest of the world.
Yeah, everyone except for those Americans that just want to do things their own way.
The science-based measurements, yeah, we like those.
Yeah, it's 62 degrees up north of me where Leroy's at. And it's probably like 70, 80 degrees here with the sun down. It's been pretty warm recently. My wife and I went. Leroy's asking what day is it? It's the 19th, I think. It's next Thursday. So next Thursday, the 20th. So it's the 20th, 21st, 22nd, 23rd. And if you guys are familiar with our area, it's the Snowville exit. So there's this exit like basically near the border of Utah and Idaho called Snowville because it's always snowing there. And you take that exit and head hour and a half out into the middle of nowhere, this place called Stargazer Ranch, it is true. You can see the Milky Way like perfectly out there. It's a beautiful place to stargaze, but it's, it's salt flats and brush. It's desert. And I think there was about 8,000 people there last year. It should be about 10 or 12 this year, hopefully. And it's just a good time. It's kind of turned up. The energy there is turned up. A lot of ex-Mormons from Salt Lake go to this festival. So a lot of repression boiling over, like Rumspringa with the Amish.
Nice.
So if you guys are interested, just look up e11.org or element11.org and we'll see you there. I mean, they're still selling tickets. The great thing about festivals is that hippies are horrible at planning. And so they all buy tickets, even though that's like the due date of their baby. And then like with a week beforehand, they're like, oh, I'm going into labor, or, oh, I'm not even going to be in this country. And so you can buy last minute tickets pretty cheap. That exit doesn't even have a gas station. Yeah, it's actually got a Pilot or a Flying J truck stop right there. Well, not on the top one, but the second one. That's because we always take our RV up there and fill it up. But I was going back to my wife and I were mountain biking just up the canyon from where we live last night. And she's like, my wheel, the front wheel feels funny. And I was like, I looked at it and it looked okay. We kept going around on these like tracks and stuff up in the hills. And then like right at the very end, when we get on this little dirt road about to head home, her front wheel completely comes off. Like she's going like 5-7 miles an hour, pops off, and she just flips right over the handlebars. I thought she was dead, like immediately. I was like, oh, I put so much time and work into this, wife, and I got to replace her now. But the truth is,
sure.
What's that?
Hey, what about insurance? Did you insure the wife?
I know I need to insure that wife. But yeah, she flipped over, and the funny thing is she's laying on the ground, like assessing her injuries and whatnot, and I'm freaking out. And she was like, okay, I think I might have a broken finger. Everything else kind of works. I mean, it hurts because she's all skinned up and bruised and whatnot. But that her only thought was, A, do I have to go to the hospital? Which, no, I don't have to go to the hospital for a broken finger. And B, can I play pickleball? Those were the only two things through her head. Well, I was like over there just being like, oh my gosh, like if that had happened to me, first of all, I would have demanded morphine on the spot. Second of all, I would have had to be carried out in a stretcher. My wife, God bless her, she sent me home to get the pickup truck because obviously we couldn't, ride that bike home, and she was all banged up. And she like dragged that bike and the wreckage up the hill to the parking lot. Like she's tougher than I'll ever be, like personally. And she's a badass.
Too, right? Being smaller when you're falling down is better than being bigger.
Yes, for sure. Jonathan says she is a true badass. Yeah, Jonathan's hung out with her in Texas. It was a lot of fun. Yeah, you're right. Flying J, I think Ghetto Motel, my bad, got fuel there in December. Yeah, it's an interesting place, but that's where we usually put all the water and fuel up before we take off. But other than that, I just want to get on here, tell everyone Happy Father's Day, tell them that we are still plugging away at this thing, even though you guys don't see it. Us, the front end team, the back end team, the designers, Cody, we're all plugging away and making stuff happen to where this is going to become a reality in our world, and we're really excited to share with you guys. And I can't thank Fast Abdul enough for stopping by and sharing the beautiful, beautiful background that he's got. Like, I think that's the way to go.
I got this. Here we got the plains behind us.
Yeah, so, look at those flowers.
We got forest over here, if you want that. And behind the forest is the lake.
Beautiful.
So we got choices.
What about the one thing I worry about when I go north in the woods is ticks. Do you guys put on like tick repellent, or is that a problem where you're at?
Ticks are not a problem right here, though generally in the region it would be. Where there's deers, there's ticks. Is usually the rule. So but mosquitoes is really the thing you put the repellent on for, and that's more or less the same stuff. So yeah, I'm smothered in mosquito spray right now. I'm more worried about bears. That's my main concern. So
yeah, if you get bit by a mosquito, you'll probably live.
I have a repellent for the bears.
Oh my gosh.
And that's I find that to be a more pressing concern than the ticks.
Yeah, I can imagine. Leroy C4 says, "Let me come hunt a moose." Eh? Do you guys got moose up there?
Yeah, for sure.
I've heard they're like one of the meanest animals out there. Like more people get hurt by moose than bear.
Yeah, but that's from hitting them with their car.
Oh, Yeah,
right?
that'll mess you up.
The moose is so like you hit a deer in like a car or a truck, any normal sized vehicle, and the deer will fly off, right? But a moose like is so high that you hit a moose and the body of the moose falls into your windshield, right?
Oh my gosh.
If you're in like a semi trailer sized truck, it's gonna come right into your windshield because its legs are so high compared to a deer. It's like its shoulder is like 6 feet high at least, right?
Dang.
So it's a serious consideration. So, but literally, that's why people get killed by moose is hitting them with their cars. So don't do that.
Yeah, don't do that. I hit a cow at night in my car once, and it wasn't good at all. I don't know how. Like, it's amazing that I'm still here. I'm living on borrowed time. Leroy says I have a Glock 10 millimeter for a bear. Hunting a moose is a life dream. I can get a tag for one, but it's a once in a lifetime hunt. Yeah, I think we have a couple of those animals here in Utah that people only get one chance at, like mountain goats and stuff.
Yeah.
I've never wanted to shoot a mountain goat personally, but
here it's not hard to get tags for anything really. Like you might, you can get deer tags every year, guaranteed. Moose is like every 2 or 3 years. Bear would it be every second year if you wanted to. But you're not allowed to bring your Glock 10 regardless. Rifles on.
What about elk? Do you guys have elk up there?
We do have elk, not close to where I live, and that would be, that'd be some guys hunt elk, but they're in big herds. It's not like it's not quite the same experience. You're just go into a big field and shoot an elk. I don't think it's it's more of a harvesting thing.
Yeah, it's not like a sport thing.
Not so
There
much.
says spring bear is great hunt, good fat. I've never had bear meat personally.
I'm not a big fan. But yeah, it is available. But people use the fat to make salves and stuff like that, right? Like it is supposed to be really good for healing cuts and things like that. And then of course the furs are always popular. But yeah, there's no Canadian market for bear meat. Like you can't buy it at the grocery store, even though we got plenty of bears. But
that's interesting. Let's see. I was gonna go on to another subject, and it's completely past my mind. I don't know what it was. I might have been looking for a good song to play us out on. This is a really, this one's nasty. I sent this one to Freddie Quotes and Rags to Riches, and it has a bass line that feels like you owe it money. Like it just comes at you. It's very aggressive, very deep hitting. I don't know how much of it's going to come across on this, but this microphone's pretty good and this speaker's pretty good. So maybe I'll run out on Back to You, which is that one's pretty sweet. Other than that, like I said, I'm going to try to be here just about every day until we take off on the next weekend. He says furs are where it's at. He's ready to like live in the woods and go back to the land. But and what's new with Fox and stuff? You guys have added some new pairs. You guys seem like you're adding new pairs every week.
Yeah, no, there's tons of stuff. So 2 Fox is live, right? And which is like a different front end for the Fox Exchange that will pay you more yield if you're yield farming. And there's lots of new pairs. There's a new Gifford Ware pair that just went up. You'll be able to vote on that. There's 2 Tetra pairs that are going to be, they're gauged, meaning they're incentivized. And as of this Wednesday, they'll be paying probably lots. So that's cool. One of them has Tetra with Pulse and one's Tetra with Pulse and also 2 Fox tokens. And then there's a bunch. There's the 2 solid pool. It has all the solid index tokens. That one's huge. There's over $1.1 million now.
Holy
in
cow.
10 days, right? And there's 2 Fox in that pool as well. It's actually the biggest token in that pool by percentage, 33% 2 Fox in that pool. So that's great. We have for liquidity for the 2 Fox token, we're just about at $2 million now, I think, in 12 days. So I'm pretty happy about that.
No, that's awesome. Now, do you guys have a V2 or is this on V3?
Well, it's on the Fox Exchange, or 90% of it, and that's a fork of Balancer. So it's neither V2 nor V3. It's sort of a interesting combination of both, in that you can have up to 8 tokens in a pair rather than 2, right? Like in a liquidity pair, you can be trading between 8 tokens, and they can all be different percentages, right? So kind of like how with V3 you can have like 80% you put up this token and 20% this token. It's like that, except for with continuously flowing pools, so it'll never run out of the range, right? You're always in the range, but you could set the range permanently to be 80-20 or 10-90, or like any sort of combination. So there's a lot of interesting game theory, because you have different percentages you can put in for each token, and you can have 8 tokens instead of 2. So yeah, not boring that way, but a little bit complicated for new people perhaps. But the yield farming is not that complicated, and we're seeing 3, 4, 500% APRs on some stuff. It's working really well that way. People seem very pleased.
Now the FUX token itself, or is it 2 FUX or FUX? What's the symbol?
Both of those are tokens. So the FUX token, core token from the FUX exchange. Then our token is 2 FUX, which is our community token that applies the votes on the FUX exchange. So they're related. And both of them have gone up. The 2 FUX token a lot more than the FUX token, but FUX was having a hard time for a long time, and now it has a nice rounded bottom. It's starting to be deflationary because the 2 FUX protocol buys it and can never sell it. It like buys it and locks it. So it's starting to be deflationary. So you have this thing, much like INC or the BBC token, that are reward tokens with utility. Well, not INC, because it has no utility except for a billionaire guy buys it sometimes. But where it's starting to be a rarer thing, and there's less coming out now than there was before. So the price is starting to go up nicely. So our timing was perfect for that. We're pretty pleased. And yeah, everybody seems very pleased. Everybody's participating in the farms. And there's a lot of forward momentum, a lot of new farms coming up, and a lot of new partnerships with different protocols. So yeah, very happy that it's working out.
That's awesome. Now, if I wanted to do some of this farming, would I have to buy each token individually and then add the proportion I wanted to, or is there a way to buy another token and just put that in the pair or group that I want?
Well, let's say with an existing pair that had, let's say, 5 tokens, right? You can enter that pair with any one of the 5 tokens. You don't actually have to have all 5 tokens in the same proportions, because FUX is a fork of Balancer, and that's why they called it Balancer originally. It's because it will balance the pool. So you can enter with one of the 5 tokens, and basically in the background it does swaps to fill in the other 4 tokens for you. So you could face some slippage, which you have the information on when you're doing that. So it's not always the best play, but you definitely don't have to have the exact perfect mix in your wallet to partake.
Oh, that's really cool. Leroy C4 says, DM me on Twitter if you need a meme dealer. He does have some pretty tasty memes. A lot of them are completely inappropriate, and I'm going to jail just for having them on my phone. But some of them are, shareable and hilarious. So you'll see those, me reposting those on X.
Okay, I'll keep my Leroy there, yeah.
Yeah, anytime you see hat tip Leroy C4, it's a good meme. And he's been hitting it hard with some of the good crypto memes lately. So,
but anyway, thanks for letting me jump on, man. I appreciate it, and I'm glad things are coming along. That you're getting ready to launch soon. It's cool.
Yes. Thank you, and thank you for sharing and stopping by. I'm gonna play us out with Back to You, and I guess we'll be back here tomorrow sometime, and I'll just be plugging away. We've got another 27 million pulse in the Wishwell, which is going to be put to work, with audits and test nets and bug bounties and all that good stuff. So we'll keep marching forward, and we have some announcements that are going to be people that have already joined the collective, that have already connected their wallets. They're going to be very happy with some of the things that we're announcing as we get ready to go into the mining phase. But other than that, have a wonderful night, and we'll catch you guys later. Love you.
Running back to you. Baby, it's the morning after. I miss your smile as the sun kicks in. I don't know why I chose this, but it's too hard to try and let you go. I swear I feel your fingertips pulling me right on home. Tell me, what am I gonna do to stop myself from running back to you? Please tell me, what
Shout
am
out
I
to
gonna
Jonathan from Holland.
do to stop myself from running back to
Singing
you?
voice for guys. Thank you very
Tell
much.
me, what am I gonna do
I
to
don't
stop
have
myself
FBI in
from running
Canada.
back to you? Please tell me, what am I gonna do to
What's
stop
that, man?
myself from
Steve?
running back to you? Running back to you. To stop myself from running back to you.
Leroy is
Please
crazy.
tell me, what am I gonna do to stop myself from running back to you? Tell me, what am I gonna do to stop myself from running back to you? Please tell me, what am I gonna do to stop myself from running back to you?
All right, that's back to you with Adventure Club. You guys have a wonderful night. Love you.